Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Oh boy, so I guess Christmas came early this year. I guess my wish came through. I'm officially satisfied for the next year. I really don't need much else. But for real, right after that Jimmy Kimmel clip dropped, I reposted it on X and I said, I hope this ends his career. And then of course, less than 24 hours later, Jimmy Kimmel is gone, fired, or at least taken off indefinitely, probably to the end of his contract. And I know the left is trying to flip it on us right now, trying to make us look like hypocrites, trying to get us to backpedal. Not gonna frickin' happen. This isn't cancel culture, it's not a flip-flop on free speech. Our track record on that issue, I think, is quite clear, especially after we were just condemning Pam Bondi for going too far with the whole hate speech thing. We are consistent on this issue, and while the left wants us to cower, wants us to apologize for our supposed hypocrisy, I am doing the exact opposite. No, as they're melting down all over social media, I'm relishing in their misery.
Oh, the tears of unfathomable sadness. Yummy.
Ooh, these salty, salty tears. I want more and more of it. Keep crying, you hypocritical imbeciles, as if we're gonna take lectures on free speech from the people who tried to found a ministry of truth. Not gonna frickin' happen. Let's talk about this. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright, so let's start off with all the meltdowns happening all over social media in response to Jimmy Kimmel finally getting what he deserves.
These are I can't find it. The one that they have on there, I don't see where that's even controversial. The guy's a comedian. This is the same party, the same group of people who complained about everything is too woke. Comedians can't say anything anymore. They're killing comedy.
Donald Trump and his FCC told ABC to cancel Jimmy Kimmel's show or else face consequences, and they did it. This is what we call attacking freedom of speech.
I guess we're not making comedy legal again? I thought that was y'all's whole thing. I guess I was wrong.
The moment that the tables had turned, obviously they fully understand all about that, which we know, the hypocrisy of the right. We know about that.
And Jimmy Kimmel gets canceled. For what? We watched the clip together. He didn't even say anything.
Yep, as per usual, unsurprisingly, anytime the left doesn't get what they want, anytime they face the consequences of their own actions, it's always Donald Trump's fault, it's Trump fascism. But let's make this crystal freaking clear, Donald Trump did not do this. No, we did this. Patriots did this. And to pretend as if this happened in isolation, as if this one moment is what led to the collapse of Kimmel's career, give me a break. No, this is the result of years of pent-up frustration with left-wing propaganda artists like Jimmy Kimmel, and frankly the rest of the late-night clowns, who all abuse their platforms to lie shamelessly, to push DNC propaganda, to put their thumbs on the scale in terms of the political conversation and American elections. This is called accountability for spreading vile hate and despicable, dangerous lies. And actually what's funny is if you listen to some of these leftists melting down, they're claiming that Jimmy Kimmel got fired for, quote, telling the truth.
In light of the censoring and cancellation of Jimmy Kimmel for telling the truth, it should be clear to us that it is happening and is happening completely, which means we have one opportunity left before us, and that is to use our collective power.
He got fired for telling the truth. No, he got fired for, first of all, being an insensitive piece of you-know-what during a moment that calls for the exact opposite, and secondly, for pushing demonstrably fake news regarding the Charlie Kirk assassination. But now, of course, the left is calling this fascism. And how rich is that? They're the same people who cheered when Tucker Carlson got pulled off the air. In fact, they're the ones who pushed and demanded that he get removed.
These lies continue tonight. Rupert Murdoch, who has admitted they were lies and said he regretted it, has a special obligation to stop Tucker Carlson from going on tonight, now that he's seen how he has perverted and slimed the truth, and from letting him go on again and again and again. Not because their views deserve such opprobrium, but because our democracy depends on it.
Yeah, these are the exact same people who celebrated when Donald J. Trump, a sitting president at the time, was deplatformed from Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and the rest of the internet pretty much. He had to make his own social media platform, Truth Social, to regain his online voice. They applauded as big tech banned conservative voices by the millions. It wasn't just high-profile figures, no, they were going after moms on Facebook, random users. I almost had my entire YouTube channel obliterated for literally no reason because of, quote, misinformation, when everything that I said at the time, all the videos that were getting striked, I was simply covering the facts and the daily news cycle, what was being said in the news cycle, and throughout this entire time they cheered. Well, now the shoe is on the other foot and suddenly the left is crying free speech, Miss me with that bullshit, please. And again, I want to make it absolutely crystal clear that this is not cancel culture. It's not the same thing. This isn't government strong-arming networks. No, this was righteous anger that boiled to a point where the network had to act. And frankly, what happened to Kimmel, I think, was inevitable. His ratings were trash. He was consistently behind Stephen Colbert, and even Stephen Colbert got fired for poor ratings. His show was losing millions. So imagine what that says for Jimmy Kimmel. The parent company was probably just waiting for their moment to have an excuse to get rid of him. And now, once again, he went too far. He deliberately violated FCC regulations by knowingly spreading falsehoods. He alluded that Charlie Kirk's assassin was a MAGA conservative. And right there, that gave the network the excuse that they were waiting for. He became a liability for the company that he was working for, and so they got rid of him. What happened here is finally, a network stood up and did the right thing. And what's really happening is we're winning in the cultural debate. This hyperbolic toxicity that the left is engaging in is becoming less and less popular. Frankly, it's becoming revolting to people, and I'm sure the executives at these networks are sick of it as well. And now, of course, conservative activism is blowing up. We're no longer silent. We're no longer scared. The actual cancel culture and censorship regime has pulled off a little bit, and so you're seeing conservatives speak up and voice their opinions more unabashedly than ever before. We're organizing, and companies are finally starting to realize that ignoring us is bad for business. I think Bud Light was the wake-up call, right? Disney's momentary collapse was another, not to mention Cracker Barrel just recently, and now Kimmel, well, he's a result of our growing cultural influence. He thought that he could continue with that old game, continue spitting in our faces every night that he's on TV and that we just take it, but that era is done. And you know what? There's a key difference here. When the left cancels people, it's not usually for actual wrongdoing. It's not for blatant lies or violent incitement. It's because somebody said something that they didn't like, or because somebody dared question the science or their political orthodoxy. We saw the cancel culture that they engaged in. They went after bakers, small business owners, moms on Facebook, comedians who told the wrong joke. And I know leftists are going to say, but what about Kimmel? He was telling a joke. No, he wasn't telling a joke. He was spreading dangerous misinformation again. But we saw what the left did. They weaponized government agencies and then used those agencies to pressure corporations. They abused federal power to crush dissent. They used this vague term, misinformation, to label speech they didn't like. They tried starting an entire department, a ministry of truth of sorts, to start cracking down on it, abusing federal power. And you know what? That was actual fascism. That was real authoritarianism. That was a real threat to free speech. This is not. Jimmy Kimmel has no right to be on television. Nobody does. ABC is a private corporation, and they made the final business decision. And it's hilarious to watch the left suddenly abandon their own private companies can do whatever they want mantra. Yeah, now that it's one of their golden boys on the chopping block, all of a sudden, ooh, free speech and cancel culture this. But it's ridiculous. Kimmel isn't going to jail. He's not being sent to the gulags or a re-education camp. He can open up a YouTube channel tomorrow if he wanted. He could come and compete in the open market. He can go rant on TikTok like the rest of the unhinged army. He has no shortage of platforms to spew his nonsense, but the fact that he lost his mainstream megaphone, well, that's called accountability, not cancel culture. You know, for years, the left got away with cultural warfare completely unchecked. They got so cocky. They thought they could get away with everything. They thought they owned every institution, that they could just humiliate us and silence us forever. They used these late night shows as their paid media muscle, their propaganda arms. They poison the culture and the public debate with venom and division and lies. And now I think they're finally starting to feel what it's like to face the music. They cry fascism the moment they face consequences, even though they've been the ones dishing it out for years. And now they expect us to take them seriously. Well, the truth is, they're lashing out not because they care about constitutional rights. No, they're freaking out because the cultural momentum is shifting. We are winning. They're losing their paid propagandists, their late-night propaganda arm, their comedy platforms are drying up, their cultural dominance is eroding, and they just can't handle it. They lost USAID, they lost Twitter, they pretty much lost Facebook and YouTube at this point. They're losing control, and they just can't handle it. Well, if I have any advice for you leftoids out there, it's time to stop with the hyperbolic nonsense. The entire world is laughing at you. Nobody's joining your righteous cause against Trump fascism. Get back to the frickin' drawing board and do it the right way. Nobody wants to be lectured on free speech by the biggest petty tyrants in the game. Just like nobody wants to sit and listen to your lectures about protecting democracy, when you clowns do everything in your power to subvert it. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.